travel morning one just outside of Las Cruces, New Mexico. Trying to make this work. We're at a Love's truck stop at the moment. Overnighted at Leesburg Dam State Park, and it was literally get in, park, sleep, get up, head back on the road. So just kind of cruise the perimeter of Las Cruces. Never been here before. Cool looking town. But we're at Love's Travel Center, and this is one of the benefits of most of the Loves. Most of them these days have dog parks. And there's the pups. There's Bailey, there's Dixie, and there's Ellie. Roar. They were good pups last night. Coyotes all over the place. Oh, woof, 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 woof. Okay, you tell them about it. Started out a little warm, got a little cool, but good night. So hey, when you're on the road with the dogs, Love's Travel Centers are pretty handy. Most of them have dog parks. Let's get some B-roll. Ellie Belly, Ellie Belly, come here. There she is, what a pretty girl. Where's my Bailey boy? Bailey, what a good boy. Is Ellie having fun? Is Ellie having fun? Burning some steam. We are on site at Kofa Wildlife Refuge. This is our home for the next couple days. Not too shabby, huh? So yeah, we're on site. This is we'll start doing some scouting from here tomorrow morning, just outside of Quartzsite. We got a full day of stuff, and hopefully, if the route works properly, it'll be winding not through these main mountain areas here, but off over that way and up towards Quartzsite. That's the plan. We're going to verify that tomorrow. But yeah, dispersed camping, free in the wildlife refuge itself. I don't know, we're maybe 6 miles in from the highway, and we're maybe 2 miles in, not even that, maybe a mile in on the refuge itself. So very few people camping here. On the outskirts of the refuge, between there and the highway, that 4 or 5 miles, that's BLM land. There were quite a few more campers there. That's free camping as well, but not as many as here. And we're even closer into the mountains. We'll poke around. There might be even better campsites closer to the rock, but it's getting late in the day, so we have to get everything set up. And maybe we'll take the Jeep and do some exploring into the canyon later. This is absolutely gorgeous out here. And yes, Kofa is part of the TUBA Trail. That's the plan anyway. We'll verify that tomorrow. We are checking in from Kofa National Wildlife Refuge at the Kofa Cabin. And let's see. Yeah, it should be open. Check it out. My understanding is you can camp here if you want. There we go. Not the Hampton Inn, but emergency drinking water. There's some coffee here. Hey, look at this. Man, if I've got some extras, I'll drop it off. Toothbrush, toothpaste, golden. So what this tells us is our Kofa section goes all the way through. So we're super excited about that. We actually went backwards to get here. We haven't gone all the way out the east end, but I know the east end gets to the cabin here. So we're good. We're going to check out the rest. But Kofa Wildlife Refuge is astounding. You're going to want to do it on definitely 2-inch plus tires. It's not a mountain bike trail. It's not a rugged Jeep trail. It's a mild Jeep trail, but gravel bikes aren't going to have fun on it. But it's beautiful. Well, scouting day 1 review, scouting day 2 preview. Yeah, I'm in the middle of nowhere, below Quartzsite. We're kind of sort of behind schedule, but not in a bad way. The theme so far of this trip is most assuredly, this is why we scout. A bunch of major sections did not work the way we were hoping. Fingers crossed. That's not to be unexpected. So sometimes we have to come up with new stuff on the fly, and here's where we're at. I'm almost certain this is going to work, and once this is done, we will definitely be through Arizona. We will have found our way through the desert around Quartzsite. One small section that I'm going to need a scout bicycle rider on. Doesn't look like it right now, but that's a brand new Jeep. And there was one really steep incline that the wife wasn't none too pleased to go up. I saw both sides of it. Just a little. It's right by the interstate. Just this one little small mountainy area that we got to get a pilot rider to go through there. I'm just not going to have time to scout it on a bicycle this trip myself. It'll probably be hike a bike, but no worse than what folks on the Tour Divide would come across, is my guess. That's a very short section. Assuming this reroute works out as planned, we'll be really super solid with better stuff than what we originally had in mind. I'm very, very excited. Arizona is amazing. Just doing the cross Arizona section of the TUBA, if you do that, that's a lifetime's worth of experience right there. I mean, look at this. Amazing. Arizona, you got it going. On to California, and we'll give an update on that tomorrow. All right. News alert. Pretty cool scene, huh? We're gonna have to redo the mapping on this second. We're not gonna get California done on this trip. We're not done scouting California, but between Blythe and Salton Sea, we're definitely gonna have to redo it. Couple of key road closures, and we thought we might be able to hop onto the highway every once in a while, and that's been the biggest learning from this whole TUBA trail. It's been the paved roads that have let us down the most. I mean, there was a ton of heat map activity on this road. People ride this road a lot. I'm not sending riders down it for any extended period whatsoever. So the county roads that I had mapped out were closed. I don't know why. And there's a lot of BLM roads. So I'm going to be able to I'm confident I'll be able to put something together with BLM roads, but that's a multi-phase project that we're not going to be able to knock out and get caught up. So we're going to bypass the rest of Blythe to Salton Sea. We're at the Imperial Sand Dunes National Park, or whatever it is. This is really cool. Dune buggy heaven, or whatever the kids play with these days. We got a tracked something there. So hey, this is why we scout. Plan is to still swing by here, and I just got to figure out the best way and safest way to do that. So California won't be done this trip. It's going to take at least one more trip out to California. Well, even more happy little accidents. Be like Gumby. Check out this cool spot here. We are on the Bradshaw Trail, and that's the Salton Sea right over there. We may have our workaround. We haven't verified the whole thing. We went from the west end about 25 miles in. The worst of the sand pit is the most concerning part for me for bicycles. I think we went through the worst part of it, and maybe a couple 3 miles, mostly sand with some respite from it. It's going to be worth it over the course of 80 miles though. Much better than getting run over by a semi on Highway 78. But this is absolutely fantastic out here. So big props to Matt Golson for dropping this idea when Rich and I were in New Mexico. Hopefully this works out. We got to check out the rest of it on the way back to Texas. All right, I think we're recording. Let's do this. Well, we are on roughly the last 30 miles of the TUBA Trail as currently mapped. Ooh, I should have worn the long sleeve shirt. We'll be okay. We'll be okay. And this is what they call the Coast to Crest Trail. And I'm having to scout this because it's unclear whether this actually all goes through in one piece or not. So we're going to give it the last 30 miles a try, because obviously we can't get the Jeep or the van on here. But this will also be a good opportunity to update how the California TUBA Trail scouting has went. This is the last part of it for this trip. That is very successful. Frustrating in a few spots. We've got one big hole to fill in. Talk about that a little bit. But we definitely are very pleased with the California portion of this. For the most part, the western part was better than expected. I'm blown away by California so far, to be honest with you. Let's see here. Got a trail. Please turn back. All right, we're not turning. Here's the trail, so we're going up here. Beautiful area. Absolutely gorgeous area. And we'll see how this, let's see if this Coast to Crest Trail works and gets us all the way to the Pacific Ocean like we're hoping. I don't want to get ahead of myself. Where I have it currently set to finish, I may change that. We went by that end spot yesterday afternoon because the trail comes up maybe not even a mile short, where you have to do a little bit of roads to get to the beach. Not a big deal. But I wanted to make sure how the finish did work, to make sure that part was bike safe since there was no trail. And that's another, man, so far at least Southern California, San Diego area, and up the coast. All right, this is fun. I'm liking it. Fantastic bicycle infrastructure. Fantastic outdoors living. Everybody's out and about. Yesterday was Monday. And on Monday, everybody was doing stuff. Okay. It's not single track, but it's not champagne gravel smooth either. A little bit of a downhill section. Oh, I'm out of practice on this stuff. I'm gonna wimp it just to be, I don't need to get hurt out here. I know, just send it, right? Not this time. Well, hopefully it's coming through at least somewhat on video, but this is absolutely gorgeous through here. And I expect, maybe not quite this hilly or all this exposed rock, but I expect most of this Coast to Crest Trail section to be fairly nice, at least. like I said, this is roughly the last 30 miles. And maybe half of it, I'm guessing, maybe is unpaved. I'm thinking the last half, closer into San Diego proper, is probably almost all paved, if not all paved. Hey, this is why we scout. But the where we have it designated to finish on what we mapped out, it does finish at a beach. The beach is convenient to the Coast to Crest Trail, but the area was a little uptight to my liking. So as we were working our way up the coast back to our campground, I saw another area that was more my style for where Kevin would like to finish, and obviously this is all about me. So if we happen, if the trail goes through as planned, I will potentially look at a way to maybe have the finish go through a slightly different area, but let's make sure the trail goes through to begin with, one step at a time, which is the way this whole journey has gone. So let me update you on our big hole in the map at the moment and how we're hoping to care for it. So essentially from Blythe, California, actually there's a tiny section a bit east of Blythe as well that I need to do a workaround, but Blythe, California to roughly Borrego Springs at the moment, we don't know what that's going to look like. What we originally had planned was going to incorporate a lot of Highway 78 between Blythe and the Imperial Sand Dunes, and that's just, we had dirt road segments that paralleled it or bypassed a good bit of it, but there was no way to string those together without using a good bit of Highway 78 regardless. And actually, once I scouted it, one of the main roads was actually closed for some reason. I saw it from both ends and definitely closed, and they were very insistent that it was closed. I'm assuming there's a bridge out or something like that, but I don't know. So ultimately that meant even more mileage on Highway 78 at what is coincidentally some of the worst parts of it. So we think that Highway 78 is blown out of the options. Using Highway 78 for more than a half mile here and there maybe would not be viable. But in that whole area, there are a bunch of BLM roads, but it's also sandy. So there is a potential of stringing together a network of BLM roads to stay off of 78 and still get from Blythe to the Imperial Sand Dunes, but that's going to take a lot of work. It's nothing we can knock out in this trip. I'm going to have to really study the maps, do some research, see what may be viable, may not. A little bit of a hill here. But what we did do, there was another alternative that I was really interested in a couple months ago, but I didn't think the logistics made it feasible, and I still think it's tough logistics. But there is an old overland trail called the Bradshaw Trail that goes from Blythe to the Salton Sea. Roughly 80 miles and no Highway 78. But there's also no amenities of any kind. So, and it's desert and mountains and so forth. I was also very concerned that it would be too much and too deep sugar sand for a bicycle, because it doesn't look like there's hardly any bicycle history of people riding it. Just a couple here and there that I could find. The heat maps from Strava and Ride with GPS were negligible on it. So that didn't give me warm and fuzzies about sending bicycles. But we did check out the westernmost 25 miles or so of it, going backwards from the Salton Sea. We are going to ramp up our juice on this one. This is a pretty good climb. Good thing I'm on an e-bike today. But we checked out the westernmost end of it to the spot that I was most concerned about being the sandiest. And it was the sandiest spot. But it wasn't as bad as I was afraid it would be, nor for as long as I was afraid it would be. So now I'm leaning towards Bradshaw Trail being plan A to get to the Salton Sea. I'm going to try to verify that tomorrow to make sure it goes through. I know it goes through. The question is, does it go all the way through in a way that's appropriate for cyclists? There's not a whole lot of climbing like this, or I'm going to chew up my battery. That would suck. Alright. So mowed down a bit, or level ground. And my heart rate come back down a bit. Off-road vehicles prohibited. I guess is this an overlook? It looks like a trailhead. I guess it's just a rest spot. Woo. Let's see. We're a whopping 2.2 miles in of 31-ish, I think. Assuming everything goes to plan. $5 mile an hour speed limit. I can do that. Oh, this looks like fun downhill switchbacky stuff. Uphill going the other way, obviously. That'll save battery until we go back up it. So we're checking out the Bradshaw Trail tomorrow to make sure it goes through. And to make sure it's bicycle friendly. If that works out, I'm going to make that my plan A for at least the first iteration of the TUBA. So if that works out, we're definitely good for this year to launch the TUBA trail. There's still a couple tiny pieces to string together and finalize, but that would by far cover the vast majority of it. If the Bradshaw Trail doesn't go through, then I'm going to have to go home and do that research for the BLM rat maze around Highway 78. And that's going to take a fully dedicated scouting trip for that. And that's going to be tough to pull off because it was already almost 100 degrees there at the end of February. I don't know when we would get an opportunity again to scout that stuff. It's a long trip to get there, and I have a pretty busy calendar through the spring. So I'm thinking it would be fall before we would even be able to get out there again. And then depending on which way we end up going to the Salton Sea, either north way via Bradshaw Trail or south way via BLM Rat Maze Network. Yeah, we're getting more downhilly again. Okay, this is all right. Leaning off. Okay, there we go. That's right. Easy in my mountain biking days, but I am so out of practice from mountain biking, and these are hard rocks. So far, this has been a little bit more mountain biking than I was expecting. It's not terrible. And I get it. You gotta get down the hill. So I am tremendously out of shape, and my skill set has all but disappeared. Yes, I'm on an e-bike, but even on an e-bike, hike-a-bike sections, you're hiking them. So mountain bikers, I'm not implying it's tough single track by any stretch of the imagination, but I do know gravel riders that have converted from road. That might make them a little uncomfortable. Just walk what you're not comfortable with. Those are very short sections so far. And like I said, I think the main thing was getting down off that last mountain towards town, but I could be wrong. We may have more ups and downs in the mix. I've never been here before. That's what I love about adventures like this. I love seeing new stuff. All right, this is more like what I was expecting from this whole little trail, at least the unpaved parts. And we're only 4 miles in, and at the moment, yeah, it's pretty tame. Definitely seeing more people, hikers, several cyclists. Turn right. But so far they've all been on mountain bikes. So far. But they were going off towards that mountain bike section. Yeah. I think we're on track now. So, not, I guess technically single track. Definitely not,
in 1.5 miles, continue straight.
Not black diamond stuff by any stretch of the imagination. Just because of the downhills and the climbs in it. Maybe for DFW riders, it might be a blue trail. Pretty much everywhere else in the world, it would be a green trail, just with a little bit of elevation change. And I think we're in the valley. Maybe there's hills coming back out the other side. I don't know. Let's see what we come across. Morning. Ride her back. Coming left. Coming left. Morning.
Good morning.
How y'all doing?
Good. How are you doing?
Fantastic. All right, well, it's a pick your poison type of day. It's either get my feet wet or walk up a huge ass wall. I'm opting to get my feet wet, and I see tire tracks through here. This is probably the norm. I can't ride this because I can't take the chance of stalling out and having to go down on this knee, and that's also why I can't climb that wall either. I physically can't walk all the way up that sheer thing. So we're getting our feet wet today. Actually feels good at the moment. So far. Okay, so we're 21, a little over 21 miles in. And I'll be honest with you, I was like, man, I hope a third of this is dirt, unpaved. We got past 10 miles. Maybe half of it is. Got past 15 miles. And it's like maybe 2/3 of it is. Hey, we're past 20 miles and I doubt there's been a half mile of pavement. It has been tremendously more.
Turn left.
Quarter mile, turn left. tremendously more mountain bikey than I was expecting. It's not tough, but gravel riders with no mountain bike experience might want to work on some mountain biking skills a little bit before doing this one. There were a couple big switchback ups and downs, couple of big loose descents, and a couple of decent loose climbs. Mostly pretty much hard pack and flowy stuff though. Absolutely gorgeous riding. Now we got some Powerline road stuff. Woo! Let's see what's in store for us next. Camera just doesn't want to turn off no more. Well, we'll leave it on and we'll go up this hill, and y'all will hear me huff and puff up this hill, even on an e-bike. And I'm going to put it in turbo mode to make it even that much less hard for me, because I haven't been on a bike in months. This is a fantastic way to get back on the bike. Holy gosh, this is a fantastic ride. And the Salsa tributary has been the perfect sled for it. This is like the ideal trail for a drop bar mountain bike in general. All right, we made it up the loose part. So I think I left off, I'm not sure where, when I was talking about Bradshaw Trail and Salton Sea. Between that and Borrego Springs. Borrego, I can't remember. One or the other. So we got to figure out which end of the north or south end of the Salton Sea we're going under before we can connect the dots towards Borrego Springs. I've got another idea in mind. We may not do Borrego Springs. There's some coolness to it, but you know, I was thinking, yeah, if somebody wants to get a hotel. We were looking at hotels in Borrego Springs last night. $600 a night. To hell with that. If y'all can afford that, I'm not giving you a free no, we're not going there. But the main thing is the road out of Borrego Springs is paved, but it's spectacular. But there's another route that steers south and west of Borrego Springs. It's all dirt and goes up the mountain, and it's pretty cool too. But Borrego Springs does give resupply, so I think there's other resupply. Anyway, there's the thought process. We have a hole to fill in between Blythe and Borrego Springs, and that's going to be dependent on the Bradshaw Trail going through or putting together a BLM puzzle to the south end. And we'll figure it out from there. Now let's try to turn this camera off again. Well, it was all going great until it wasn't. Still very... let's see, I'm 29.5 miles in, and maybe 1.5 miles of that is going around in circles trying to find a way back onto the trail. Not terrible, but it could be better. So we're gonna have to fine tune the very end. We're within 4 miles, probably 3 of the finish. Have to play with that. And then to top it off, got a flat tire. And it's just not worth it to change it right now. Jan and the dogs are like 2 minutes away. I'm gonna let them pick me up. So, darn it, I'm gonna have to come out to San Diego one more time just to figure out the absolute finish of this thing. I think I can do that. I can force myself to do that. I'm liking this California stuff. Y'all got it going on here. So, you know, go ahead and California my Texas a little bit. I'm perfectly fine with that. Well, we're back. And hey, it's official. Bradshaw Trail goes all the way through. And that makes the TUBA Trail 99% complete. No, I'm sorry. We got a big chunk still got to put in between where this comes out at the Salton Sea and Borrego Springs. So we're 97% complete. But Bradshaw Trail, that's going to work. It's official. Because the other day we came through from the Salton Sea and did about a third of it into there. And today we came all the way through from the east. And it's a lot better than I expected. It's still not going to be easy. This is going to be a true gravel grind. It's about 80 miles. Call it 60 miles of it is good, wide, hard-packed gravel. The rest of it is going to be super soft sand, some chunky soft gravel, some chunky gravel. So, you know, 60 miles of it, you can do 10 to 12 miles an hour fairly easily. The rest of it, depending on your tire choice and skill level, anywhere from 3 to 8 miles an hour. So plan accordingly. There is zero resupply along the Bradshaw Trail. We'll define where you can get it on either end. We'll get that sorted out too. But roughly, you want to be able to do 100 miles of this at those paces that I talked about with no resupply. Carry everything you need for at least 100 miles, might even be closer to 110. I would also plan on making it 2 days of riding, not 2 full days, but an overnight in the mix. So we're gonna go back that way and finish and figure out what the rest of this trip's gonna be for us.